It's becoming painfully obvious that MAGA Mike is completely out of his depth, and the timing couldn't be worse. Just as millions of pages connected to Jeffrey Epstein are released, new and deeply disturbing details are coming to light, and Donald Trump's name is all over them. Not once, not twice, more than 1,000 times.
Morning, there are some disgusting new allegations and details in the 3 million Jeffrey Epstein files just released. President Trump is mentioned in them more than 1,000 times.
Trump's defenders usually rely on a familiar playbook when trouble hits. Spin the story, then redirect attention. But this time, even Speaker Mike Johnson, arguably the GOP's most aggressive spinner, is struggling. And the harder he tries to clean this up, the worse it looks. Johnson insists he's spoken to Trump privately and that the president says the same things behind closed doors as he does in public. He claims Trump has never been concerned about his relationship with Epstein.
President Trump's name appears throughout the Epstein files, including in many of the new documents released this week. But do you have any outstanding questions, given that, about the relationship between President Trump and Jeffrey Epstein?
I mean, I've spoken to the president about this privately and personally many times, and he's spoken very candidly and openly to the public. He says the same things privately that he does publicly. He's never had any concern about that.
Well, he said that I spent time on Jeffrey Epstein's island. I didn't. I mean, he's a lightweight, this guy. He's a terrible, I think he's terrible. I thought he did a terrible job at the Grammys. I thought the whole Grammys was terrible. I watched part of it. It's not watchable.
Repeating the line that Trump kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago years ago after hearing rumors about his behavior. Johnson even floated, then quickly walked back the idea that Trump had cooperated with the FBI regarding Epstein. But here's the problem. Trump's name keeps showing up, again and again, including in FBI notes tied to a lawsuit in which a woman accused Trump of raping her when she was just 13 years old.
President Trump is mentioned in them more than 1,000 times, including in FBI notes about a woman who accused Trump in a lawsuit of raping her when she was just 13 years old. The DOJ says the allegations against Trump in the document are false, and he has long denied any wrongdoing related to Epstein or any allegation of sexual misconduct. Also,
Trump has denied all wrongdoing, and the DOJ says those allegations are false, but the documents exist, and the public has questions. And those questions aren't going away. Instead of transparency, the administration has gone into full defense mode. Johnson's media appearances haven't reassured anyone. If anything, they've poured gasoline on the fire.
That he's not saying that what Epstein did is a hoax. It's a terrible, unspeakable evil. He believes that himself. When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down. The president knows and has great sympathy for the women who have suffered these unspeakable harms. It's detestable to him. He and I have spoken about this as recently as 24 hours ago.
He says Epstein's crimes were unspeakable evil and claims Trump has deep sympathy for the victims. Yet Trump himself has called the Epstein files a Democratic hoax, or at least a hoax meant to politically damage him. That contradiction alone keeps the controversy alive.
President Trump's name appears throughout the Epstein files, including in many of the new documents released this week. Now, we want to stress appearing in the Epstein files does not amount to or imply criminal wrongdoing. But do you have any outstanding questions, given that, about the relationship between President Trump and Jeffrey Epstein?
I do not. I mean, I've spoken to the president about this privately and personally many times, and he's spoken very candidly and openly to the public. He says the same things privately that he does publicly. He's never had any concern about that. Remember, President Trump was one of the first people that called Epstein out. He kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago, off the property, because he heard of some of the nefarious things he was engaged in. He's never had any concern about that at all.
He did at one point call these files a Democratic hoax. But let me ask you about something.
Well, what he said specifically was the hoax of the Democrats trying to turn this into a political issue and use it against him.
Meanwhile, this Epstein storm is hitting at the worst possible moment politically. There's no good news to drown it out. Public opinion is shifting fast. Even Fox News polling shows a majority of Americans believe ICE has gone too far. Voters are demanding solutions to rising costs, not more chaos, cruelty, or distraction.
ICE efforts to deport illegal immigrants. If we ask folks out there, too aggressive, 59%, not aggressive enough, 17%, about right, 24%.
And the cracks are spreading. Conservatives are now arguing over gun violence, protest shootings, and the limits of the Second Amendment on live television.
Taxpayer dollars should be used to address the affordability crisis here in the United States of America, which is very real. It's not a hoax. It's ongoing, by the way. Taxpayer dollars should not be used to brutalize or kill American citizens or to violently target law-abiding immigrant families. So there are a variety of reforms that need to be put into place that the American people are demanding. Your own poll has shown that everyday Americans have concluded that ICE has gone too far and that behavior needs to be reined in.
So one of the issues here is...
But, the question I've asked a number of times today, Ted, is who goes to a protest and brings a gun? I mean, was he not asking for some kind of trouble in that situation?
No, I really don't think so, John. Look, I've been on this channel on numerous occasions where we talk about the Second Amendment and the right to carry firearms. And I've known people to go to demonstrations before in the past and to have firearms with them. He didn't do anything with that firearm. That man is dead. And there's a question mark as to whether he should have been killed under these circumstances.
They're talking about how they're working. He says, with the help of tariffs, we have cut the federal budget deficit by a staggering 27% in a single year. And even more incredibly, we have slashed our monthly trade deficit by an astonishing 77%, all with virtually no inflation, which everyone said could not be done. Now, Carl, we wait for a tariff decision from the Supreme Court. He does mention the court in this piece, too. It says he hopes they're paying attention, but he says for now, he's proving the haters wrong.
Yeah. Well, the problem is we need to go back to essentials. Olivia put her finger on it. He's making the same mistake Joe Biden made. Bidenomics is working. That piece in the Wall Street Journal is the economy is great. That's not what people feel. Last year, we lost 70,000 manufacturing jobs. We lost 145,000 blue-collar jobs. There's a great deck put out today by the Washington consultant and prognosticator Bruce Millman. Blue-collar consumer confidence is at a record low since 1976 when they began asking the question. The top 20% of the American population is responsible for 75% of the GDP. The bottom 80% is responsible for 25% of the GDP. The lower income households are bearing a bigger burden of inflation because the things that they have to pay for, like rent and utilities, have risen higher.
Trump is boasting about tariffs and deficit reduction, but even longtime Republican strategists are pushing back, pointing out that working-class Americans don't feel any economic relief. Manufacturing jobs are down. Blue-collar confidence is at historic lows. Inflation is hitting the people who can least afford it. Then came Texas. A special election in a district Trump won by 17 points, flipped hard to Democrats by 14 points. That's a swing of over 30 points. Republicans outspent Democrats 20-1 and still lost.
Looking at Texas, though, I mean, that should scare Republicans. That was the point that Ron DeSantis made in a post. You know, that seat, that state Senate seat, flipped. It was a district that the president won by 17 points, and the Republican had outspent the Democrat there 20-1. And still, you know, the Democrat took that seat. Ron DeSantis wrote, special elections are quirky, not necessarily projectable regarding a general election. That said, a swing of this magnitude is not something that can be dismissed. Republicans should be clear-eyed about the political environment heading into the midterms.
That's exactly right. Texas 9, because what happened in Texas 9, it didn't just swing to the left. It took a rocket ship to the left. My goodness gracious, the Texas 9 Senate District election marches. This was a district that Donald Trump won by 17 points in 2024. The Democratic candidate in the special election on Saturday, won it by 14 points. That's an over 30-point shift to the left. Any Republican, unlike Ron DeSantis, who doesn't take this seriously, they should realize that this is very perilous. They ignore this result at their own peril. Ron DeSantis is right to say, hey, special elections can be quirky, but this ain't no quirk.
Notably, what people are looking for is mentions of President Trump, and there are thousands of them in these documents. Many of them, we should note, are news clippings, but there are some lists and summaries of unsubstantiated claims made against him from individuals alleging wrongdoing, including graphic depictions of alleged sexual abuse, including of underage girls. Some of those complaints date back to the 90s, others from more recently, around when he was campaigning for president.
even conservative leaders admit this isn't just a quirky election, it's a warning sign. Taken together, it paints a clear picture. Pressure is mounting, patience is thinning, and the political tide is shifting. And hovering over all of it is Epstein. Thousands of mentions. News clippings, summaries, allegations, some unproven, some graphic, some dating back decades. No one is saying that appearing in these files proves criminal wrongdoing. But pretending this doesn't matter isn't working anymore. People want answers, and so far, all they're getting is deflection. If you support independent media and want more reporting like this, consider becoming a member of the channel. It helps keep this kind of coverage alive and growing.